Homelessness does not always capture the stereotypical images of a shopping cart, living under bridges, digging through dumpsters, or shaking a cup with money. It can be much more than that, from a 12-year-old child running away from home to a family of 4 who can no longer afford to pay the bills.
This child was in the custody of his grandma. Grandma passed away, and he had been at home taking care of grandma, and the schools assumed that he was being homeschooled, when really he wasn't. Grandma was not able to homeschool him because she was sick. When she passed away, he became homeless, and that's how he ended up here.
People would be on the streets in a year or two, a couple of years, and all of a sudden they decide it's time to get it together, and that's what they do. And then some just think that's the only way out. They just live in the streets, playing the system, doing what they need to do within the system to survive, and they just don't go nowhere. They just continue to stay on the streets. You know? But for those of you that make it out, you applaud them.
Homelessness can affect any person. Even children without parents or in foster care can experience homelessness. The Lighthouse, a children's shelter in Cincinnati, Ohio, is a safe retreat for children with no legal guardian. It allows them to get assistance from staffers who can place them into child welfare centers.
Kids that are running away from some sort of a situation at home that is intolerable. Or sometimes homelessness just happens because maybe the family home is foreclosed on, or the family home burns down, and there's no place for kids to go.
This is the counseling room, where people actually come and meet one-on-one with the children, mainly children's services, when they're trying to determine what's going on with the child.
The Lighthouse is funded through federal dollars and grants, which are used to provide education for children. There are certain rights that are afforded to children under the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act.
The children are required to go to school. They have a right to attend whatever school they were attending when their homelessness occurred. And part of the funding that is provided under this act is to arrange for transportation for them to get back and forth to school.
A statistic that we like to stand by is that in any one night, there are probably 1,000 kids in the city whose parents do not know where they're staying.
According to the National Network for Youth, about 1.6 million 12 to 17-year-olds in the United States were homeless in 2008. Families fortunate to stay together have other options if they face homelessness. Haven House in Hamilton, Ohio serves families with children of Butler, Preble, Claremont, and Warren County. Founded by Bobby and Faye Grove in 1982, Haven House provides physical, emotional, and spiritual support to homeless children and families while facilitating a family's smooth and rapid transition to a more stable and permanent future.
Typically, it's maybe 2 to 3 weeks, but we will extend that if the client shows the willingness to get up, to get his life back on track. We provide 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day if it's very bad weather. We do not let our ladies go outside with babies. 3 meals a day on the weekends for sure. We give them a room and a unit that they can call their own. You really find out how strong you are when you land up in a place that you can't call your own, you know?
The drop-in shelter on West 12th Street in Cincinnati is for adult single men and women who are experiencing homelessness. It provides essential services and encouragement for individuals to move out of homelessness and into housing. Kenny Turnbow, a new employee at the drop-in center, has seen his share of trials and tribulations in the 14 days he has been there.
From what I've seen, and statistically, which is based on people who drank themselves out of work, out of a family, out of, you know, whatever, and they just fall back on the streets.
I think our oldest client right now is about 83. Most of the folks we serve, though, are in their 40s, early 50s. 20% women. It is probably 70% African American. 40% of the people who come here stay here 2 weeks or less. Of the remaining group of people that are here, about 40% of them are out of here in about 30 days or less. We've seen people staying longer, is what we're seeing. So far we're not serving more people. People are just staying longer, so our numbers are higher. They're not leaving as quick. And we are noticing that people are not having consistent work as much. It's harder to find work.
About 65% of the drop-in budget comes from local, state, federal grants and donations, which are used to sponsor the Homeless Individual Partnership, or HIP program. Ricky Gore has used HIP to get his life back on track.
A lot of people are not hiring. If they are, it's for the part-time basis, and then it's really hard no matter what kind of education you have. You have to really be out there every day pounding the pavement. And then, you know, it's really God. You know, I believe in a higher power than myself because I know who's really in control of all of this. So I have to always keep some faith. If not, I could be it can be really, really bad for real. I've met people from all walks of life because I've worked and worked in some institutions where I've made a decent amount of money per year. I've been to school. I've had some decent jobs. I've had a family, car, house. And I've met a lot of people throughout my whole life. So it's easy for me to communicate with people on different levels.
The homeless are more like us than they're different. And they're really struggling with things to try and get out of here. I would say no one says, oh boy, I want to be homeless. I think what happens is they get here long enough and it's so hard to get out, they act like this is okay. And it isn't okay.
It's a serious situation no matter what. It's serious. You know, a lot of people take it as a joke, and it's not a joke at all. You have a lot of people that shun and take an attitude when they see someone that's destitute on the street. And they really shouldn't, because I found out through my years that a lot of people in this world have gotten hard. Their hearts have gotten hardened.
This is America, and why is there this kind of homelessness? It just doesn't make sense. They're turning left and right people out of their homes. Where are those people going?
Keep hope alive and keep the faith, you know what I mean? That's about it.